Hi everyone and welcome back. In this video I will be making the red dress that Judy Garland wears in Meet Me in St. Louis, and if you didn't see part 1 of this where I make the petticoat that's worn underneath it, I'll link that in the description below and on the end screen. I know this video is a bit late coming out, it should have been out at the end of December, but real life got in the way. So it's coming to you, but just a little bit later than I planned. So I hope you still enjoy it, and I'll see you at the end with the finished dress. Hi everyone, Editing James here. I've got some really bad news for you. After filming the video and I went to download it onto the laptop to start editing, I found that there was barely any footage there. I'm not sure what went wrong, whether it was a fault with the camera or whether the card was corrupted, I don't know. I'm really sorry for this. I was so looking forward to you seeing this last video for the year. So rather than not putting the video out at all, what I've decided to do is to edit the footage that I have together with photographs that I took of the making process, and I hope you will still enjoy it. And I'm so sorry for this, and I can't apologise enough, and thanks again for your understanding. And now back to the video. For the dress, I'm using this red velvet that I picked up in Bangkok when I was there in May. I don't know what the fabric content is, but it's got a really nice weight to it, and it's not too drapey like most velvets are. I don't know if you can actually see the proper colour, because on the camera it's actually showing up quite orange, but it is actually a really nice red colour. I start, as always, by cutting out the skirt pieces, and here you can see me cutting out the backing fabric, which is a red cotton. I had debated about backing the velvet because of it having quite a nice body, but in the end I decided that I would, just to give it that extra little bit of support. Next, I move on to cutting out the velvet. Here you can see that I've used the skirt backing panels as my pattern, and I've laid these onto the velvet, and now I'm cutting around them. Also, one of the things I had to make sure was that I was cutting the velvet going all the same way, because velvet has a pile and you don't want to cut it going different ways because the light affects it when it hits it, and some parts would show light and some parts would show dark. So in this I've cut it all so that it would show up as a dark colour. So now we're on to the photographs, and here you can see the skirt front panel sewn together and pinned onto the mannequin. And here is the waistband, which is made out of a red Peterson ribbon as per the original. And here's an interesting photograph where I compare the fastening on my skirt on the right to the original on the left. Next I move on to cutting out the bodice backing fabric, which is a white drill. And here you can see the front of the bodice on the mannequin where I've draped the front panel. And here's the back panels of the bodice. Now we're back to some video footage, and here I'm cutting out the sleeve backing, and for this I used some of the leftover organdy from the petticoat from the previous video, because I wanted the sleeves to have a little bit of structure but nothing too aggressive. So this was quite a good fabric to use for this. And the sleeve pattern I'm using was from a previous project a couple of years ago when I made the Julie Newmar lilac gingham picnic dress from 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. And here you can see me cutting out some bias strips. This was used for the piping that goes around the bottom of the sleeves, and then also as the bias to go around the neck edge and the bottom edge of the bodice. This fabric I just found at home in a drawer. It was left over from another project, and it was just perfect for what I needed to use. And here you can see the sleeves pinned on the mannequin before I sewed them into the bodice. And that's the finished dress. I'm pretty happy with how she's turned out, and also while she was coming together and I had her here in front of me, it really struck me how much the bodice is 1940s and the skirt is Edwardian. It's not something that's ever really struck me before just watching it in the film, but physically seeing it here in front of me, it was just like, you can really see it. There's still things that I would like to do differently, maybe cut the skirt slightly differently. I'm still getting used to sewing with hook and eye tape. It's not something that I do very often, so that's not quite right. But overall, I'm happy with how she's turned out, and you can see how much she is like the dress in the film. Thanks again for supporting me with all the dresses that I've made. You can give me a super thanks if you like, or if you're interested in more what I do and the behind the scene things, you can subscribe to my Patreon, which I'll leave a link to in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon.